2NURFM.com, a broadcast service of the University of Newcastle.
Joining us in studio is the one and only Director of the Tom Farrell Institute, Professor Tim Roberts. Good morning, Tim.
Morning, Meryl.
You're a little bit excited today, aren't you?
I am. I'm in torture because I have to stand up while I give this interview, which is new. I normally sit down in a chair.
We do have a chair if you'd like to sit down, but we've, just to let everyone else in on this conversation, here at 2NUR we've put a stand-up desk in so that when we're on air we can stand up because it's better for us, it helps us breathe. I'm very happy because my ever-increasing derriere is not in a chair. I get to stand up a bit more, which I think will be good for me in the long run. And Tim's a guest and he's standing for the first time today.
And I have to tell you, I bought one of these for my staff and they used it 3 times and it's been sitting there, just nothing, nobody uses it. They've wound it down to the chair level and they all sit in their chairs again. $450 it cost me.
Oh, my goodness. Well, look, we've been standing up since last Thursday, quite happily. So it's not quite a week old, but we're still standing. We'll see how we go. Today on the show, what are we talking about? Banana freckle. What is that?
Banana freckle, browsing ants, electric ants, fire ants, giant pine scale, red rich weed and chestnut blight. We're talking about those because I found them on a website and they are new arrivals in Australia. And so the Australian government quarantine people are spending lots of your dollars and my dollars to try and eradicate these new pests that have come to the country. And it's something we all need to know about. When we were very young, we lived with rabbits and eventually we got them a little bit under control with the myxomatosis and then with the calicivirus. My grandfather lived with the cactus, which the prickly pear that invaded all of the farming country. So Australia's had these exotic species, as exotic pests come. And what's happening with this website that I found called Outbreak website, so it's www.outbreak.gov.au. If you go to that website, you can see what is the latest arrival that we are fighting. And as you said, the banana freckle is a fungus. It's attacking the banana crops up around Darwin and across the north. And if we don't eradicate it, we could lose all of our bananas because all of our bananas are actually one species, the cavendishii one, Australian. So we're not going to find any resistant ones there because they're all genetically the same. So we could wipe out the whole banana industry if our quarantine people can't get this under control.
Now, what about things like browsing ants and electric ants and fire ants? They've all been introduced, have they? Or have not been so much introduced, but they've come via shipping or aircraft, so inadvertently introduced. Is that what we're talking about here?
Exactly. A shipping container might come in from South America and inside there might be a little nest of fire ants and then they get established around where the shipping containers are and then they move out into the community. And that's what's happened with the browsing ants, which are little tiny ones who don't seem to cause too much trouble, but they just multiply in huge numbers. The electric ants cause a lot of trouble if they bite you. The fire ants cause even more trouble if they bite you. But the other trouble they cause is that they wipe out the native species. Yes. And so around where the container terminals are, that's where the outbreaks are. And if you go to this website, you can see a map and you can see where these are located.
So it's www.outbreak, all one word, .gov.au, OUTBREAK. It sounds really interesting. And does it come down to things like privet and lantana and thistles and all of these things which have been either introduced or inadvertently brought in over the years that we're really now battling? I hate privet, Tim.
Ah, yes.
It's just
well,
dreadful
you'll
stuff.
have to live with it because there's a lot of these things that are now virtually naturalised and they'll be here forever. And in fact, the outbreak site doesn't deal with them because there are too many even to point a stick at. The feral cats that are out there, the rabbits, the foxes, the cane toads, all of these are out there and they're doing their thing. We try to stop them coming into areas where we don't want them, but really we just have to live with them. So if we can get on top of the new ones, we should. We really should.
It's Professor Tim Roberts.